朋友们，大家好，感谢您收看本期的直击美股，我是主持人周丽，在纽约向您问好。今天是3月22日，星期三。今日股市在小幅低开之后有所反弹，这也是继昨天股市受到了5个月以来的最大跌幅之后，股市的表现有所缓和。今日科技股涨幅非常不错，领涨所有板块。但是我们不能忽视的是，在过去一段时间的平静之后，近日股市的波动有所上扬。主要原因就在于交易员们担心特朗普的新政新策能否顺利的颁布，这些包括了医改、包括税改、包括1万亿美元针对基础设施的投资。而这一切能否成功，都取决于明天国会的投票。更多的详细资讯，请关注交易员分析。
We can see that after opening relatively neutral, we saw a bit of a push lower in the morning, only to then see the market rally back up and ultimately finish up around 0.25% for today's action. And this really doesn't come as much of a surprise. Anytime you get a wide range day, it's generally followed by a more narrow range day or a slowing in momentum type day as the previous day gets digested and traders try and figure out, do we continue from here or do we get a bit of a back and fill? And so that is along the lines of what we got. And part of that was due to the financials and the fact that they were coming into support areas and the Russell as well, along with the Qs being into support areas. That all had an effect on the stabilization that we got here today. So getting back to the technical levels, you could see here we broke below this ascending trend line support. That really ignited the move lower. We fell down today testing this 50-day moving average before getting some stabilization. And then, as I said here, you can see the Qs opened right here on that support level and held throughout the day, pushing back up underneath the 20-day moving average. So, do we reclaim and get above that tomorrow, or do we get rejected from here and see price push back down towards that 130 level? And we're going to see where things open tomorrow and how the day plays out. But these are the questions that we want to be asking as we look forward. And then we also, as I mentioned, have the Russell, which fell down yesterday into support, as well as the 100-day. And after initially moving lower, was able to push back up, ultimately closing just barely above that 100-day moving average. So, again, question is, do we move higher or trade back down to retest today's low? So at a very micro level, we're going to need to see whether or not the Russell can take out today's high. That would be your first level of resistance, which if overcome could then begin to bring about additional demand. And to be honest, if we look at the hourly chart, the way things fell yesterday, it creates this void, which if we do begin to push up and ultimately get above this 135 area, opens the door to a more significant rally, right? Because you have to ask the question, well, if you were looking to get short, where's your reference point of resistance to do so? And this drop doesn't leave very much in that way. So other than looking at whole numbers or moving averages, again, there's nothing really from a price resistance point of view if we do start to move back up. So that's something to pay attention to as well. All right, now looking at some of the various sectors, we had the financials, which, as I mentioned, fell down into support, right? The bottom of that support being in this area here along the lines of the 100-day where we pushed down, tested, and popped back up off of. You had names like BAC opening down into support as well following yesterday's weakness, so that actually offered a pretty nice opportunity to get long in the morning for this bounce, and we'll see if it gets a day two push higher or if it begins to come back in. So that'll be something to definitely keep an eye on. Otherwise, in some of the other individual names, Apple was strong, continues to hold that 20 MA. Facebook also not having a terrible day. Actually, after pulling in yesterday, like most everything else, had a pretty decent recovery, pushing up about 50% into that prior range. All right, Microsoft had a nice reversal as well. Not that it's got anything special going on with it, but maybe it can break out over the 65.50 level and really start to bring about additional movement or momentum higher. And then you also have BABA, which after breaking out and starting to look a little stronger, got hit pretty hard yesterday, but nice recovery today off that 20-day moving average and closing up near the high. So this actually looks poised to go back up, test that 108 area just a little above, and then possibly even higher. So while yesterday was very weak, we have also seen today a lot of names that put in some decent recoveries, put in some decent sized candles. So it's going to be real interesting to see as we head into the end of this week how it plays out.
好了，以上就是本次直击美股，感谢您的收看，我是主持人 Julie，祝您交易顺利，我们下期节目再见。